She ain't got no money in the bank.
What is up, guys? Jack95 Gamer here, and I'm back with something a little bit new. This is pretty much for West Ham fans, and if you're not a West Ham fan, you're interested in hearing about West Ham, then welcome to my new segment that I'm doing. It's West Ham Weekly, where one episode a week I just talk about everything West Ham United, what's gone on in the week, transfer news that has gone on, not entirely about transfers. We'll talk about the previous fixtures, where it went wrong or where it went right, and the next fixture coming up. So without further ado, let's get right into it and talk about last week's fixture, which was against Aston Villa. And unfortunately, it was a 1-0 loss due to a Tom Cleverley goal. Formation we did play was a 4-2-3-1, and we did have Adrian, Jenko, Collins, Burke, Cresswell, Noble, Kayute, Nolan, Downing, Amalfitano, and Valencia. Now, 4-2-3-1 gives you shades of pretty much what went wrong last year for us, and what's pretty much been going wrong with us for the last couple of months, maybe even the whole of 2015, where basically West Ham are playing like their team in a relegation dogfight. You know, not even that, we're not even playing. We've got nothing to play for now for the rest of the season. You know, we could have had a real good season where amazing stuff could have happened for us. You know, we could have been a team in the top 7, top 8, and instead it's just gone all wrong. Now, Villa had 58% possession that game, where we only had 42. They had 14 shots to our 6, and the first 45 minutes was absolutely woeful. We were non-existent, and it was due to Nolan. Not just Nolan, you know, Kevin Nolan on his day is a great player, but he's just lacking something as of late, and he's been poor. He's been very poor, and I don't know what is wrong with him. He's looking for that 100th goal. You'd think he'd be hungry. That 100th Premier League goal, you know, he's not getting any younger, and he might not even get it for the way he's playing. So, you know, he's a player that's always in the right areas, but when we're not creating anything, you can see why he come off right at half time for Alex Song, and it was just disappointing to say the least. But what we can take the positives out of there, when Nene did come on for only, I believe it was either 20 or 15 minutes, I can't remember off the top of my head, he did make an impact. He had a shot which was ludicrous from where he was from, but it did trouble the Aston Villa goalkeeper. He was an impact. He needs more game time. Simple as that. I think he should play in the Everton game coming up in the next few on the weekend. So it'd be interesting to see. But the team defensively, I feel, are fine. They're okay despite conceding the 1 goal. It's great experience for Reece Burke. It really is. You know, he kept 2 clean sheets prior to that game. Obviously, the game against QPR and the game against, I can't remember off the top of my head. Burnley. Was it Burnley? I think it was. He kept 2 clean sheets, which is great to see, and I wouldn't have no one else beside him from James Collins, who has great experience, and I think has been very underrated, you know, very, very underappreciated this season. You know, the stuff he has done has been incredible, and I think he's been a great player for us, James Collins. But Valencia cannot do it all by himself, and Downing cannot play right wing. He's a cam. He ain't your Christian Eriksen's or your Santi Cazorla's where he can play out on the right. He used to, but he's more of an impact down the middle. And I don't know why Allardyce does that, due to probably his favourites or the system he wants to play. He just doesn't see where Downing can play down the middle, which I don't get off the top of my head. I really don't. But it is shades of last year, the second half of the season, and we need to change it, starting with the crucial game we have against Everton coming up, which we will address later on in the in this video. But as you can see, the stats, West Ham have managed just 4 away goals in 2015, which is the joint lowest, which is just, it's just not good enough, is it, really, to be honest with you? And we have no goals in the last 3 games, which is just, it's ludicrous. It really is. And we didn't play Burnley last game because we did beat them 1-0. So we must have had, I know Burke's had great, yeah, I don't know, I don't even know. I'm just going to move on to the news now. I can't remember our last fixture we had. I know we had QPR, and I think was it Burnley? I'm not sure the other team we did play. I'm sure you guys will remind me in the comment section down below. Moving on to the news. West Ham could qualify for Europe due to the Fair Play League, the standings, which will be somewhere up on the screen around here. As you can, we have got a game coming against Everton, who are right behind us, but Liverpool are top of it. But due to them probably already getting a European place due to finishing 5th or 6th in the league, hopefully they do finish 5th or 6th in the league, West Ham have a spot for Europe to fight for, which is good to see. Very good for the Hammers. would you take European football due to, obviously this would be our last season at Upton Park. As you can see, it would be a great way to play European football at Upton Park again, but the danger is a lot of teams that have played European football have found themselves in a relegation dogfight, and do we really want that? I'm not too sure, I'm not. But moving on to the managerial crisis West Ham have here, various media outlets and social media accounts do claim that Allardyce is leaving at the end of the season and won't open up negotiations with the club, which is, again, not been confirmed, but it's just reports here, speculation. And let me guys know where you stand on Allardyce in the comment section down below. Do you believe that Allardyce will be a great fit at West Ham still for another season, or do you think his time is up? Some say at West Ham are yet to approach Allardyce even for the end of the season, and don't even know where this has come from. No, Allardyce has not said anything about rejecting the chance to stay on at West Ham. So we'll have to wait and see what happens at the end of the season. But as far as the West Ham merry-go-round from the manager point of view, Rafa remains the favourite on all the betting sites, which is good to see. And reports say that McLaren has been contacted by ex-West Ham employee. I'll leave his link to the Twitter, to his Twitter in the description down below. If any West Ham fans do not follow him, make sure you do. Hammer's great Martin Allen also said if Sam does go, Bilic will 100% be the man to replace him. So that come from West Ham transfers. Also, I got that one from his Twitter. Will be in the description down below if you want to view them. And Zarate was fined 80 grand, 2 weeks' wages for failing to make the QPR squad versus Liverpool due to apparently throwing a strop. Now, I'm not too sure where that one come from, but that could be his time down in England. Hopefully we get a new manager and Zarate does get time to play, because I think when he did play at the start of the season, he was incredible. He's better than Kevin Nolan in my opinion. He's more of a danger, he's more of an attacking threat, and when he's 100% fit, I don't see no reason why he couldn't play for us. I don't. Also in the news, this week did mark 9 years ago that West Ham were in that great FA Cup final, the 3-3 draw against Liverpool, which unfortunately we did lose on penalties due to we was winning the game 3-1 and Steven Gerrard to pop up with two absolute screamers to get Liverpool back into the game and obviously win the cup, which was absolutely heartbreaking for anyone that's a West Ham fan. I'm sure you all agree with me, but that was a great time 9 years ago. And 8 years ago today did mark that Carlos Tevez goal he scored at Old Trafford against Manchester United to keep West Ham up, thus completing the famous great escape, which is so good to see. And obviously Carlos Tevez does have a special place in all Hammers' hearts, and that did come from West Ham United FC News, WHUFC_news. Link to them will be in the Twitter description down below, but I'm sure every single West Ham fan does follow him. Transfers now, so this is going to be interesting. So we're moving on to transfer part of the episode where we talk about potential transfers West Ham could be looking to complete or have rumoured to be completed. So the first one is West Ham have been rumoured to complete the deal for Spanish midfielder Pedro Obiang of Sampdoria for a fee around about 7 to 8 million euros, which does work out to around about 5.56 million pounds, which I feel will be a great deal. Pedro Obiang is a great talent, and you know, he's young, he's powerful, and he's very sort of from the Spanish under 21s. So it's good to see him, and hopefully he could break into the Spanish team very soon. Good to see that Jenko is happy at West Ham, and Arsenal value him at 8 million. Will West Ham get him? We're looking like the favourites to get him, but Bournemouth are sniffing around him. That was via ex-West Ham employee. Again, his description down below, you'd see him. Song will be heading back to Barca, which we what we got from the West Ham player awards, that apparently he's heading back to Barcelona, will not be joining West Ham. And West Ham will line up a £6 million move for Bavou, I want to say. He's from the French league and was 25 goals this season and can play on the wings. Another Ener Valencia maybe. I know he's quite pacey, so that's good to see. That come from West Ham United FC News again, WHUFC News. And Fabian Schär deal, the centre back, apparently was trying to get on the free. That deal was dead, and maybe it's looking like he could potentially be going to Tottenham Hotspur. My team to play for next season now, I've gone with Adrian, Jenkinson for 8 million, Reed, Tonks and Cresswell as our back four. Jenkinson would cost £8 million. Obiang obviously costing £6 million, would sit in at the centre defensive midfield role, that would push Kayute up to attack and get back, who is a great player. I would have him in the team. Leroy Fer I'll try and nab from Queen's Park Rangers for around about 5 million. I think that would be a very good deal if West Ham could get that one done. And Kevin Prince Boateng, worth a try. Maybe get him in centre attacking midfield, or Danny can play there too, or even Nene. So You know, we have great options there, even Zarate. So, you know, I'd love to get Boateng there in that centre attacking midfield role. Let me guys know what your teams would be for next season also in the comment section down below, and I'll try and link them in next week's video. I'd have Sakho or Carroll/Valencia up front as the two up front, which I think would be great. I think that's a good team there. It'll be on the screen somewhere probably, so make sure you check that team out. And remember, link your teams in the comment section down below, or at me on my Twitter in the description down below, your teams, and I'll definitely will feature them in next week's episode. Moving on to the final part of the episode now, guys, we do have the next match and the preview of it. We are playing Everton. Last home game of the season for the Hammers, and both teams suffered defeat last weekend. Everton did lose 2-0 to relegation candidates Sunderland, and you could say West Ham lost to relegation candidates Aston Villa 1-0, but Aston Villa are on such great form. The FA Cup finalists, and under Tim Sherwood, they have looked incredible. So I can't think you can say Aston Villa will go down this season. They're definitely not. They're one win away from staying up anyway. But a win for Everton would mean they would go level on points for us, which means that there's a real possibility we could finish in the bottom half of the table come end of the season. So again, we need to make sure we win this game, because if we do win it, the pro of that winning that, we probably would cement our place in the top 10, the top half of the table, which would probably be a successful season for us. But both teams are also battling for the fair play table. Obviously, it's going to be an interesting game looking at that, as second meets third, and whoever comes second in that table will obviously get European football. So it's looking like it's going to be an interesting battle between these two sides, and definitely a lot to play for. The top half of the table and a potential European spot for next season. Why not give that a look? Past meetings between two clubs. This corresponding fixture last time was played at Upton Park. If you'll remember, it was a 3-2 win for Everton, which was disappointing. But the last time the two teams did play at Upton Park was in the Cup. And if you remember, that was the game we did win with Adrian scoring the last penalty, which was a great moment for all West Ham fans. Probably the highlight of most people's seasons. But the last 10 games played between the two clubs, 4 have been at West Ham and 6 have been at Goodison. West Ham have won 9 of the 10 last meetings between the two clubs. So you could fairly say that Everton are a bogey team for us. West Ham have drawn 3 of the games, with Everton winning the rest of them. So absolutely gutting there. West Ham have got 5 points from the last 6. And Everton got 10 points from the last 6. So you can say Everton are the team more informed than us. So it's definitely going to be a difficult game. My lineup I'd play would be Adrian, Jenkinson, Collins, Reece Burke and Aaron Cresswell. I would then play the diamond in midfield. I would have Alex Song sitting in the base. I would have Kouyaté and Mark Noble in and around the middle, and have Stewart down at the tip of that diamond. I'd either play Nene or Colton Cole up front, partnering Enner Valencia. My prediction for the game would be a 0-0 draw between West Ham and Everton. I think it'll be a bored draw, in all honesty, guys. So let me know in the comment section down below what team you would play and what your prediction would be for the game against Everton. I'll be intrigued to know. If you have any queries that you want to talk about, guys, then make sure you do let me know in the comment section down below. Also, thank you for watching this video. Make sure you hit that like button for the first ever video of Hammers Weekly. And I will catch you all next week. Subscribe if you're new around here. And my Twitter, again, is in the description down below, so make sure you check that out. Sorry if the camera's a little bit dark at the moment. It is because of the lighting around the room. I will try and change that for the next episode. Well, thank you for watching this video, guys. And come on, you irons.